Disclaimer, the purpose of my content is to criticize individual videos, not the people who created them. In fact, one of the people I'm talking about today is actually a creator I really like. I just think they made a misstep when talking about Infinity War. I personally have no ill feelings towards any of the people I'm talking about today. If you want to give a piece of your mind to any of these people, please do so respectfully. Thank you. You know, for unknown reasons, I really want to talk about Infinity War again. And honestly, it's not just because I got so many views when I talked about it the last time. I genuinely really like that film. Is it perfect? Probably not. Does everyone have to like it? Yes.
All heathens must die.
But I'm sure there are perfectly good takedowns of Infinity War out there. I mean, there must be, right? I've not found any, but they have to exist, surely. In the past couple of months, I've found a few videos about Infinity War that I've sort of wanted to respond to, but none of them have been quite right for a full response video. So today, I'm going to be looking at some of those, starting with this, Everything Wrong with Infinity War by Onision. And just to be clear, this segment does have jokes in it, but they are just jokes. I personally have nothing against Onision because, well, I don't know enough about him to have anything against him. He just made some points about Infinity War that I personally disagreed with.
Okay, first off, if you clicked on this video, you are in for the spoilers. Thanos wins and like half the Avengers die. It's very stupid, and let me explain to you why it's so stupid.
Yes, Onion is about to explain to us why, of the two things, Infinity War and his review of Infinity War, the thumbnail for which is a picture of Black Widow with cleavage photoshopped onto her, that Infinity War is the one of those two things that is stupid. Good luck! Originally, I was going to make a full-on response video to this, and I wrote counters to 5 of his points. But we've not really got time for that, so I'm going to pick out one of those points at random and just respond to that one. I actually didn't record the random number selection, but here's some footage of a random number generator that I took afterwards to make it look like I planned this.
This is Black Panther. He's supposed to be brilliant, right? He's like a scientist and stuff. He's also allegedly a strategist. Yet for some reason, when Thanos was attacking, nobody thought, hey, why don't we just get a scope, a sniper rifle maybe? There are many times in the film when people get the better of Thanos. So why is it so hard to send SEAL Team 6 over there and take him out like normal people? Instead, we're gonna run up to Thanos and try to punch him to death, because that'll work.
So this is the point that RNGesus chose for me to talk about. It's the first one he makes, and thankfully is one of the shorter ones. In fact, that entire clip I just showed you is all he had to say on the matter. And it's really silly. If only the movie featured some kind of indication that just shooting Thanos wouldn't work. You know, like an entire story arc dedicated to obtaining a weapon that's actually strong enough to kill Thanos. That would do it. A weapon that's literally described on screen as the Thanos killing kind. You know, if only it was explicitly stated in the movie that it takes a special kind of weapon to kill Thanos, then this plot hole would just magically go away. And you know what, even if the movie hadn't just sort of handed you the answer to this one on a silver plate, like, here you go, here's why they can't shoot Thanos, you ding-dong, then there'd still be plenty of evidence in the film to suggest why they can't just shoot Thanos.
Here's everything on Hulk's powers. Hulk can resist nuclear explosions, if you see it in all that text.
Yeah, you know what else I can see in all of that text? The part where it describes the Hulk's strength as potentially limitless. And also the part where it says he can jump hundreds of miles in a single bound. This is the same guy who in the first Avengers film was able to take out a Chitauri turdworm. That is actually what they're called, I promise I googled it. With one single punch. Do you think just a sniper would be able to take that thing out? Hopefully you can see where I'm going with this now. Do you know who's able to just take punches from the Hulk like they're nothing? Thanos. Thanos can do that. We see him do it right at the start of the film. And you know who mentions the fact that we saw that happen? You!
But for some reason, can't resist getting punched in the face a few times. Yeah, that adds up.
It's almost as if the movie is trying to show us that Thanos is actually really powerful and isn't just the kind of character that you could take out with something like a sniper. And also, by the way, if you personally find it hard to believe that someone could punch harder than a gun, then that's fine and all. Maybe comic book movies aren't for you because that's sort of the point. But this is fine, like within universe. It has a logical consistency to it all, and that seems to be what Onision is claiming isn't there. He's not saying that it's ridiculous that anyone could punch that hard. He's simply saying that that the movie was logically inconsistent, which it wasn't. Now, as much as I'd like to cover the rest of Onision's points, I am going to move on here. Fortunately, if you want a summary of all of his points, he included one in the video.
And that's how I wrote the whole script. Mind you.
My video
is very funny. It's very entertaining. up until the point you actually turn on your brain and you start realizing how sloppy and illogical their writing is.
So now that I've finished talking about Onision, it's time to move on to the second video, which is called Avengers Infinity War Sucks. Worst Marvel movie ever. Boring and predictable. And it was made by Young Defiant. And for this one, I'd just like to take you through the process I went through when I first saw this video. I, as I often do, was looking for videos to respond to. And one way I sometimes like to do that is just by typing X movie sucks into the YouTube search bar. Sometimes it works. Actually, no, I think about it, it hasn't worked once, but shut up. I'm just going to take you through my reaction when I first watched this video.
I just got back from watching Avengers Infinity War, and it was by far not only the worst Marvel movie ever created, but hands down one of the worst movies I've seen in a while. And I knew going into this movie it was going to be complete garbage because all Marvel movies are complete garbage. Marvel is trash. Like, honestly, if you're a fan of Marvel, there is clearly something wrong with you. Fans of Marvel know absolutely nothing about good characters or stories.
He's such a fucking dick. He's perfect. Thank you, YouTube, for delivering me this gold. This is going to be such a good response video. I'm so psyched to make this.
The movie was lagging. It was dropping frames all over the place. Like, it was just a bad situation. The comedy was cringeworthy. You know, of course you had all the little kids and everything laughing. That's so funny, it's Spider-Man. Spider, that was so funny. But like I said, the higher level thinkers like me, we weren't finding this amusing.
Fuck, he's trolling. God damn it, I was really excited to make that video. Why can no one genuinely be this much of an arsehole on the internet? So yes, as it turns out, this video is just a big joke. At least I really, really hope it is. And you know what? It's genuinely quite a good joke at that. Knowing that it was a troll, I laughed out loud at it quite a few times. I just wanted to share with you my personal moment of frustration when I thought I'd struck gold for something to make a response to, and actually I just found a troll. So having touched on that very briefly, I now want to move on to video number 3. Let's talk about Thanos. Movies with Mikey. Now, any of you already familiar with this video may have a couple of preconceptions or guesses as to what it is I want to talk about here. Because there was one big controversial issue that he brought up, and yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Now, I personally don't think what he said about Thanos and about abuse was very well argued, but I'm guessing you'll understand when I say I don't really want to dwell on that topic. And I feel completely fine not addressing it, by the way, because plenty of people already have. Even if you think you really want my perspective on this issue, you wouldn't want it if I actually gave it to you because it is not in any way refined. It's not a topic I really know about, nor is it one I really want to talk about. So if you do want to hear someone talk about it, may I recommend you go and watch one of the many other videos on the topic by someone else. The reason I want to talk about this video is I want to respond to the things he says about Thanos' plan.
A lot of people kept telling me it's supposed to be a dumb plan. It doesn't need to make sense. That was the point. But the people that made this movie don't believe that. It's a false justification. They think he's empathetic.
We wanted to tell a story about a character with a really complex and empathetic interior life.
This is the only solution. He's seen it firsthand on his planet.
Thanos is a very complex character. What he's doing from his point of view is a very positive thing.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Thanos' plan was actually really good, because it wasn't. It's a terrible, terrible plan. I mean, first of all, think about this. If you wipe out half the population of any given place, it's not going to end there. Think about how many more people are going to die as a result of those people who have died. People who were being driven by other people, piloted by other people, operated on by other people. You know, people who were in any way dependent on someone else being there for them to survive in that given moment. And then beyond that, beyond the people who would die immediately, society is going to collapse, and that is going to cause so much more death. This isn't a way to get rid of half the population. This is a way to decimate a society. Now, of course you've got loads of people out there saying Thanos did nothing wrong, and this is a joke, right? You understand that this is a joke. I'm in on the joke. I'm subscribed to r/Thanos did nothing wrong. I really like it, and I think it's quite funny.
And this narrative is now getting regurgitated into the world.
Thanos, my boy, has quite the point.
You don't gotta go far to find people that believe that, because humans like easy solutions to complex infrastructural problems.
No, you don't have to go far to find people who say they believe that, because people like memes. Granted, there probably are people out there crazy enough to see Infinity War and to think, you know what? That strikes me as a good idea. I mean, this is a world where the movie Teeth exists. Clearly there are crazy people, and you can't blame Infinity War for that. But unless someone actually goes ahead and tries the Thanos plan, forgive me if I don't believe you on this one. I am personally of the opinion that videos with clickbaity titles from film theory are just videos with clickbaity titles from film theory, not proof that people think it would be a really good idea to kill half the world's population. To me, this argument feels so silly that I'm genuinely having to remind myself consistently that this isn't me strawmanning you. I keep going, hang on, this feels like a straw man. Surely he's not actually saying that. And then I go back and listen to what you said, and you are. Maybe some people think that killing half the population would mean that we had less resource shortages, but I don't think anyone really thinks it's a good idea. Thanos' plan is dumb, and that's okay. Sorry, no, I meant Thanos did nothing wrong. What am I saying? The reason that I don't think it's a problem for this film is that Thanos is a delusional character. The only real part I disagreed with in your whole montage of people saying that Thanos was empathetic was literally just the use of the word empathetic, which, granted, sort of is the central point. But bear with me on this.
Character with a really complex and
sympathetic
interior life.
There we go, I fixed it. The problem is gone. He's not really empathetic, meaning that you relate to his goals and hope that he achieves them. He's sympathetic, meaning you understand why he feels the way he does. And you know what? It's kind of silly that the Russos used the wrong word to describe Thanos, but are you really going to hold that against the film? Clearly just means that you can understand where Thanos is coming from. That doesn't mean you think he has a point, that doesn't mean you think he's right, that means you understand his motivation. Let's look at a quote from Joe Russo. Who's the most surprising? Let's take Thanos. I don't want to keep defaulting to him, but I think people will find him at turns horrifying and at turns empathetic. Certainly we love villains with depth, yada yada yada. This middle bit really isn't important to my point. Feel free to pause the video and read it though, just to make sure I'm not misrepresenting anything. Yada yada yada. We always try to find the human side of a villain, because in every villain's story they're the hero in their own story. Their point of view is that they're right. You hear that? Their point of view is that they are right. Not you are supposed to be on board with their point of view. Not even they are supposed to be totally empathetic. They are supposed to, at turns, be empathetic. So if we actually look at context and not just short sound bites where he describes Thanos as empathetic, it becomes much harder to suggest from that he doesn't think Thanos' plan is at least a very flawed plan. Okay, now after that, let's move on to the fourth and final video. Everything Wrong with Avengers Infinity War by Jake. The main reason I didn't want to make a whole video on this is that Jake seems to be a smaller YouTube channel. And because of that, I would just like to say, Jake, if you are watching this, you made some good points in your video. Just like all the other people that I've talked about today, this isn't a takedown of you, your channel, or what you do. This is me responding to individual criticisms that you made that I personally disagree with. If YouTube is what you want to do with your life, then best of luck to you. It took me like 6 years and 5 attempted YouTube channels before I hit 1,000 subscribers for the first time, so keep trying is my advice to you and anyone else in your situation of having a YouTube channel with under 1,000 or under 10,000 or under whatever 1,000 subscribers. But since this video is one in the Cinemasins format, let's do it properly, right?
Four?
How dare you speak ill of the hunky god of thunder?
So Thanos already has the Power Stone when the movie starts? That's convenient. Saves time as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it is convenient. The movie is already 3 hours long, and Thanos getting the Power Stone isn't something that's hard to believe. This isn't lazy storytelling, this is understanding what your audience does and doesn't need to see. Also, are you really just going to use text on screen for every sin? Come on.
Loki's convoluted plan obviously fails, and he ends up having his neck crushed by Thanos. Such a waste for one of the best characters in the entire MCU.
Well, it would be a waste if we didn't already have loads of good movies with him. Personally, I just think it's a really effective way to show just how strong Thanos is. We've been in the movie for what, a few minutes, and this guy is a threat.
Gamora tells Star-Lord, if anything goes wrong, take me out. Peter agrees to it, but his heart obviously rejects the idea. Things naturally go wrong, leading to Star-Lord's first tantrum, pouncing like a 2-year-old child who just got their toy taken away.
So, basically, Star-Lord acts in character.
Quill can't follow through on his promise, and when he does, Thanos makes a mockery out of it by changing reality. One of his first mistakes in the movie.
Yes, characters in films sometimes make mistakes, and this is okay.
The idea that Gamora was a worthy sacrifice for achieving the Soul Stone is weak and way too convenient. She was a tool for Thanos, his favourite one, maybe, but still a weapon nonetheless. Perhaps Thanos had feelings, but they were likely false.
His feelings were likely false? What does that even mean? What is a false feeling? If he loved his adopted daughter, then he loved his adopted daughter. If he didn't, then he didn't. There's no, he did love his daughter, but not really. It was all fake. So you know what? That's honestly me out of steam for this one. I know it's not been very long, but the point of this has sort of just been to respond to little bits of each video and not the whole video. I hope you have enjoyed this. Goodbye.